Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our Blindspot series finale reaction. I hate to say the words. I hate that we are here, but alas, here we are. It's the end of the show, the end of Jane's journey, and there's a lot that this finale tries to do. It is the 100th episode. It's
Yep.
the last episode. It's only an
Yes.
hour long. It felt like it should have been 2 hours long.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it needed to be longer. There are some things that I liked about it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. There were some things that I did not like about it, and we're going to go over all of that in this video.
Yeah, we're going to talk through the highlights, the lowlights. I think that there's a lot of things I appreciated. There's a few things I wish they could have done a little bit better, but we'll get into it. There are obvious, huge spoilers throughout. If you haven't seen Blindspot yet, come back when you have, or just be spoiled. And if you like this discussion, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you guys so much who've been a part of this Blindspot journey. It has been really fun interacting with all of you over the past several weeks.
I'm going to miss it.
I know. Are you at least happy you saw Reed again? He was there in the finale.
Yes, he was. I was really happy to see Reed again, of course. I was really happy to see the last 5 minutes. I wish that the last 5 minutes was longer. It felt that it was kind of rushed at the end to get that flash forward where it's like, oh, and you see what if Jane made it? What if Jane didn't make it? And that idea. I mean, they left the ending that I guess people could interpret it, but it feels more like if I hadn't gotten the antidote in time, then I wouldn't be here to see all this stuff. I don't believe that Jane didn't make it and this could have been sort of thing. I really like that dinner and seeing everybody together. I love that Rich and Boston are married. That was really sweet. As soon as I saw Boston's wedding ring, I was like, oh, okay.
There we
this
go.
is cool. I like this. I like being able to see Tasha Reed's baby. That was cool. I really liked the idea that Weller and Jane were fostering kids. I was like, oh man, I really like this because I just love the idea of fostering. I love the idea of adoption. So when I saw that in the show, I was like, this is good. It just hit all the right stuff for me. Bill's there. It was really great, but it wasn't long enough for me for it being a series finale. I really want to know more, like what has been sort of happening in this time. Like, give me more conversations, give me more of the happiness. We've just gone through 5 years, 5 seasons of all these different things. Like, it's a little more.
This is just the biggest question I want to ask you. If they just took those final few minutes of everybody around the table with all the little updates, if they had made that and expanded it into a full episode where the series finale was getting a sense of where all these people are now and seeing them all work to come together. Maybe there are a couple little conflicts along the way, but it's really just sort of a big, giant, happy farewell. Would you have liked it more than just the couple of minutes of, here, let's run around to this person and that person to get all these updates?
Absolutely. There wasn't enough. And for just the running after the bomb and stuff like we've seen this kind of thing before on this show. That part of it all felt like a regular episode, not 100th episode. The stuff that made it feel like the 100th episode, made it feel like the series finale was, we got to see, of course, lots of callbacks, lots of cameos from people, and that was cool, but it started to get kind of overwhelming by the time we were in Times Square. I was just like, okay, it's a lot, like a lot.
I will admit, I love the Times Square thing. Like, I was out on the cameos early on. Like, first I thought, okay,
I was the opposite. I was in on it at the beginning, and by the time I got to Times Square, I was like, okay, I've had enough.
I had a real journey with this because at first I was like, yes, Roman is here. I was on the Roman needs to appear in the finale train for like the past month, and I love Luke Mitchell. I was so happy he was there. And then kind of around the midway point, I was like, all right, can we get to the main story already? Can we kind of find a way to make that happen? But then I don't know. It was something about how impressed I was. It's mostly just like self-congratulating. That I was like, I've been on this entire journey. A good job, Blindspot producing somehow. I don't know if there was some like digitally imposing going on here, or if they actually legitimately. Because I was like trying to keep track of all of the different cameos I saw in that Times Square thing. I was
yeah, there was a ton.
I saw Kathy, which how do you have Kathy on the finale and not let Kathy actually do anything? That makes me sad. I think Lou Diamond Phillips was even there.
I saw Lou Diamond Phillips in there. Okay, that part was really cool. I was like, yes. But there was a lot of cameos.
Yeah. Like, I don't think Lou's been on the show in a really long time. It was just like, I appreciated all of that. So I loved and I'm going to try to tread carefully here because I desperately want to reference an end of a video game that is very recent, but I cannot do so because it would spoil the end of a video game and make people very, very mad at me. But the idea of if you do this one situation differently and play it out a lot of different times, maybe certain elements are different. It's kind of like a sliding doors situation, but when you play it in a fun way, it doesn't feel like that same sort of like hacky trope that's been done 100 times. And I don't know why. I thought the alternate wedding situation was kind of a hoot, where it was like, oh, now we're having a nod to the Patterson Zapata fans, and Bill Nye is the efficient, and I don't know why.
That was great.
It was a 100th episode fan service, but it was fun. I really liked all of that stuff.
I really also liked sort of the going through her memories and sort of seeing some of the different things, and that she had to lean into the zip to be able to actually get to the answers. I thought that was a really cool, clever way to deal with the zip in that way. And then when you bring it around to the end, when she's kind of like thinking back, she's like, oh man, if we had maybe pushed it that one step further, I wouldn't even be here, kind of thing. So that part of it I really liked. I liked her leaning into the zip a lot. The thing that I wish they had balanced a bit better, and I said this in our last video too, I didn't want this last episode to be only really focused on Jane, and I completely understand why it was. The series started very focused on Jane. She's a very important part of this show.
Yeah.
She is the star of this show. It makes sense that we're going to end sort of where we started. For me, though, the show has developed over time really into a team. So I was hoping for the end there would be a lot more of that feeling that I got at the end when it was like, here's the whole team. I wanted to see more of the team doing this all together and not just Jane, because it is the last episode.
I'm going to throw another question at you because I was just thinking about this. Well, because I was sort of thinking, okay, what is the biggest issue that I have with the finale? And I think too much Jane, it's something, I agree with that. I do wish there was more of the ensemble. But I think to me...
The fight scene was cool,
The fight scene was really cool. The fight scene was boss.
slide across that table.
Yeah, that was great.
That was great.
I love that. Give me that, the wedding sequences in the Times Square montage, and I'm good. But, okay, let's say if they had gotten rid of Ivy a couple of episodes ago, and instead of Ivy being the big bad, they just traded this out, and they were stopping Madeline in the finale, and there was
that would have been great.
Yeah, like that to me is the biggest issue I have with the finale, is that I still do not care whatsoever about Ivy as a villain at all.
And it kind of feels like the show didn't really either, because all of a sudden she's just walking around in Times Square and get jumped on by Tasha. It was just like, she just didn't care anymore.
Yeah, it really felt like they were just like, okay, what can we do? Can we have...
She's just walking by.
There was a real debate between, okay, do we give Ivy like 8 minutes of airtime, or do we have Tasha and Zapata get married in an alternate timeline? But let's do the wedding, guys.
The wedding was good.
The wedding was good, but that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like they were just like, you know what? We don't really care that much about Ivy either, so we're just going to throw all this fan service in instead because it's fun and enjoyable. And all of it was. It did make me happy, but if we were going to have just like a limited amount of time in order to focus on the big bad and the chase sequence, it would have been so much better if it was a villain who we were just so much more invested in.
Yeah, because it felt like the villain was the zip bomb.
Yeah.
That was the villain. It wasn't Ivy. We didn't really see her very much except just walking by in Times Square. And I was just kind of like, and she's done. And I was like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Where we didn't build up very much to her, and there's no build up at the end either.
Yeah.
So that didn't give me kind of what the whole Madeline storyline gave me, which was so just rich in evil deeds. Like, it was so good, right?
Yeah.
And then this happened with Ivy, and I was kind of like, but the stuff with the bomb in the middle of the Times Square, that was pretty cool. They did a good job with that. The other thing that I think I was really hoping for, I was really hoping for, was that they were going to be able to stay working at the FBI with everybody. And the reason why is this is their life, and it is a huge part of who they are. It's not just their job. It's like, it's really part of who they are. It sort of reminds me of Criminal Minds in that way, that the people that were working there for the BAU, it was just part of who they were. And I liked the idea of them still working there. And even though the show isn't going on anymore, the idea that they're still out there catching bad guys and taking care of me, and that I would just know that the team is still out there protecting everybody, but they're not there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I thought what they did was all right with that, but at the same time, I do think that, yeah, it probably would have been better if we got to see them all kind of stay in their positions or promote Weller. He can be the boss now. You can still have them in the same orbit. I'm at least glad that they showed that they're all still friends after all this time, but yeah, I think I would have probably been a little bit happier if they kept their job. I mean, I know we had the moment where they all get the round of applause from the team. I feel like...
but did you see the looks on their faces? Like, that's what I felt like when I saw that. They all just looked like they were in front of a firing squad. Like, it was, I guess they were all getting fired, so that's what was happening. And they were just kind of like, oh, this is so crap. And I'm just like, yeah, it is, guys, please.
It's kind of like when a sports team gives you a big night for your final day with the team when you know that you're being forced out because they don't want you there anymore. It's like does the applause feel genuine?
Yeah, and then you see them all getting to the elevator and they look over and basically there's all the new versions of them walking through, and I'm like, I guess that's okay. I mean, it makes me feel like, yeah, there'll be a new group of people who are going to take care of me, but it's not my team.
I had this weird sort of alternate timeline moment with that, too, where I was like, maybe they're showing us that in an alternate timeline, they could still be these people at the FBI. I could go multiverse with Blindspot in this finale, but...
I will say that I really did like that last moment with Jane, where she was thinking that she could have ended up in a different kind of bag at the end of this. It was really powerful, really powerful, and I thought that was really good.
I thought that was really good. I do think there were some nice, really meaningful moments in here. There's even a couple of cameos I forgot, and this is why I could talk about the cameos all day, but I'll give you two more that I loved. White's, it was brief.
Yep.
It was great.
Yep.
Weiss, you delightful rascal. I went from liking you to hating you. I love you now, Weiss. You have been, I don't know, redeemed, but you entertained me enough. Also, ice cream shouting ice cream.
Yes.
Also, I really appreciated that. But there's one more big thing.
Yeah,
that we gotta get to.
Listen, obviously this is a series finale. There is no more coming up after this. This is it for right now. However, the show knows that everybody wants more of the show, and so many of us, including us, want a Patterson and Ridge spinoff that even the show threw in a moment there where Rich was like, oh, let's all spin off into a bunch of primetime adventures. And I was like, okay, guys, you guys better just give us that now. I wondered for just a second. I mean, I don't think they're doing it, but just a second, if they were just kind of like, I'm going to cast this out here and see what the reaction is on Twitter and online, see what we catch. That's what I was really hoping for, but I'm kind of only 5% on that island that maybe they were testing the waters. I don't think it's coming, but I like that they trolled me.
I will say this. Martin Gero, creator of Blindspot on Twitter, made it clear that he would be very interested in seeing that particular spin-off concept, so...
And I'm very interested in watching it. I will watch it.
So I do believe that it's something he knew the fans were interested in. I think it's something he's interested in. I'm interested in it. I don't think NBC's going to be interested in it because the ratings for Blindspot, unfortunately, this season were not good.
My hope would be that with that type of a spin-off, though, it might be a little bit less expensive to make. I mean, this show does not look like it's a cheap show.
No.
There is a lot that goes into this. Lots of cool sets and locations. And this feels like a big adventure show. If we kind of moved into something that's like tech world and stuff like that, maybe they'd be able to do it for a little less.
Here's the thing.
Maybe a fishing?
NBC does have the Peacock streaming service.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to build some content there. It wouldn't have the same ratings expectation, maybe with a smaller budget. The big thing, though, is that Blindspot is enormously popular worldwide. I mean, we hear from people in the comments who are from all different parts of the world.
Yep.
I think that's where the show's audience really is. And, if I am the studio, I would at least put feelers out there to see if anyone is interested. Why not? Yeah, Blindspot itself was an expensive show, which, by the way, how much of the budget was spent on just putting Dear Prudence in this finale?
No kidding, right? I heard that song, I'm like, woo.
Yeah, we're going to put the Beatles in the final. Oh, we've got all this extra money. Let's call up the Beatles and make sure. I don't remember who wrote Dear Prudence. But anyway, let's get the most expensive song imaginable to close it off.
Yeah, no, it was. Overall, I feel like they did a decent job. There was some stuff that was really good. There was some stuff that I was kind of like, okay, too many cameos. It's going on and on and on. The stuff I really wanted to see at the end, all the table stuff, I'm like, man, it's so good, and I just didn't get enough of it, that kind of thing. And I would have really liked to have seen them continuing to be out there catching bad guys for me so that I can sleep at night.
Yeah.
But they did have some really cool stuff. There were some cool cameos in there. The wedding stuff was really fun. It was cool to see Reed again. And I did love all those moments at the end and seeing the wedding rings and the foster. I can't believe this is over.
I know. This is I liked a lot of the finale. I had issues with various parts of it. I know that there's nothing harder than coming up with a good series finale.
Absolutely.
I think, there are some genuinely terrible ones that are out there, Dexter, and I think
this
really...
is not terrible.
Yeah, this does not fall into the terrible category. It's probably not in my top 5 or top 10, but I do think that it made me happy. I think it was really fun to take some trips down memory lane. It's good to at least know that the team has a potentially happy future ahead of them. They're not all miserable and sad. Not everybody is dead. Jane has her memories. It did enough to satisfy me and remind me that I'm going to miss the show. And with that, do we start to fade away with Blindspot? I don't want to do it, but we got to say goodbye.
Thank you so much, everybody that's been watching with us. We do cover a lot of other stuff here at the channel. We hope that you're going to stick with us for some other shows. But thank you so much for watching with us and being on this journey with us. We love Blindspot, and we have really loved talking to you guys in the comments about it. That's one of the things that I love the most about doing YouTube, is actually getting to jump into the comments and talk to you guys. So thank you for talking to me.
Yeah, for sure. And also, let us know what else you're watching. We always love to hear about what you guys are into, and that's something we can always look at in the future as well. But of course, also, let us know what you thought about the finale. Give me your favorite cameo. That's always a fun thing to talk about.
Lou Diamond!
Is it Lou Diamond?
Reed!
Is it Bill Nye? Is it Kathy for 0.2 seconds? And if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further. Just check that link in the description to the store, and we will see you here next time.